Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today I am going to be doing a kind of chatty, like informative but not really informative, just like more sharing my tips of how I manage my horse on a shavings bed. So that horse is Archie. If anyone doesn't know, he has like loads and loads of allergies, so he can only be bedded on shavings. And ones that are really dust free ideally, because he has allergies to dust mites. He's allergic to most cereals, so like oats, barley, I think, wheat, rape, like oilseed rape as well, I think, amongst many other things. So shavings is the best for him. We can't put him on straw, so I'm just mucking out my straw beds now, as you can probably see. Straw is a very cost-effective option for us because we live on a farm, but obviously that's not possible for Archie, so we have to get the shavings. Shavings are quite expensive, especially if you buy them in bulk, which I suppose they are cheaper than buying them individually, but it's a big cost at once. So I'm going to share like how I try and eke out the cost a little bit, like make my shavings go a bit further, what we do in the winter, and how that maybe differs to summer, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just going to be chatty, chilled, and yeah, I'm just going to share some of my tips. So this is Archie's palace. He has a massive bed. This is a pretty big stable. I think they're like 15 foot by 15 foot-ish. I have obviously not mucked out, and that is his unicorn toy thing. So what I do is I take out the droppings first, and then I'll show you what I do with the wet. So with the wet in Archie's, he tends to only wee in this bit here by the wall, so I know where that is. So in the summer, generally I will take off the shavings on the top, saving as much of the dry shavings as possible. And then I will sweep out the wet shavings off the floor, and then I would leave it up to dry through the day. So that would be summer. In winter, he currently has snowflake pellets under there, and then the shavings on top, and then the pellets, they might get left for like a day or two when they first go in, and then they will get taken out, the very worst of them, then kind of spread back down under the wet bit, and it goes on like that. So this bed, I don't know if I said, this is a week old now nearly. It got put down, well, not put down, but fresh shavings and the fresh pellets on Monday, and it's now Sunday, so it's nearly a week old. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'll talk to you a bit more generally about it. So this was the wet that Archie had on this particular day. Then this was his bed afterwards. So in the summer, what we tend to do is, as well as sweeping up what's on the floor, which we also do when we put fresh pellets and stuff down at the start of the week, we would tend to bank it around the outside of his stable and just pull the shavings down when, like, as and when we need them. But in the winter, we found that although we started like that, it didn't really work, and we were starting to go through like 2 bags of shavings a week, which is quite expensive. I've just got a dog, sorry, towing me around. But yeah, we found that was obviously going to end up being really expensive, and that's like double what we'd use in summer. So what we were doing, we then put him on the pellets, because that's what we found to be like the most expensive, and then we put a bale of shavings in a week now, which is lasting him well and giving him a good bed still. So we put them in and we spread them around. I don't break them up too much. I took some videos while I was doing that the other day, so they'll be like interspersed between these videos, and like while I'm talking. And then we just tend to like bank it. I'm literally just looking at his stable now. He's up there. Yeah, then I tend to bank it just along the side where he gets wet, any spare, so we can pull those down over the pellets too, which is obviously really useful. Finny wants to say hi. You're on shavings, aren't you? You're not worthy of shavings. You're on straw, not worthy of the old shavings. No. Yeah, so that's what we do. In summer that works really well. In winter, that what we're doing now this winter has worked really well, and he's back down onto just like 1 bag a week. I think it's also helped a little bit because obviously in winter they're in loads, or not loads, but more than not. So Bailey, you're stuck in the bucket. Crisis averted, he is all right. But yeah, obviously in the winter they're in more. The air, I find, with shavings in particular, just makes them seem really damp, which is obviously not very nice for them, and especially with Archie having arthritis, that's not great for him to be lying in like a wet bed. But the pellets have been a lifesaver. Hunters is, well, I'm going to talk about Hunters a little bit now. But yeah, Hunters are really absorbent, and through the summer they're literally perfect, like it's never wet on top. But through the winter this year, we just found with him being in quite a lot, he's quite a wet horse as well. So we found that little patch just kept getting really wet, and with the pellets with the shavings on top, it's perfect. So yeah, that's for our winter routine, and then obviously summer we'll revert back to banking it up around the edge and pulling it down as and when we need it, which is super cost effective. And sometimes we literally can go like 1.5 weeks, have a really big bed still and not need another bale until like the 1.5 weeks, which is like amazing. I was just going to show you my Hunter's shavings, and I realised they're actually all covered in rugs drying off, so that's one of the bales there. Apologies for the tennis ball. But yeah, we've used them for ages. Before Hunters, we used Mega Spread, which are also available from Hunters, which are bigger flakes, but they were really, really good. And then when COVID hit, so that was obviously like, we've been using them probably 3 years this year. Then when COVID hit, we couldn't get them from our local store anymore. So we went to one that's slightly further away, but they only did Hunters, the actual Hunter's shavings, not the Mega Spread. So we decided to try them. They're slightly smaller flakes, but they are really good. There is so much in a bag, it is unreal. And they just seem to, like, the first 3 or 4 days, they just seem to get more and more in the stable, which that shocks me. Fabergé wants to be in it now too. Hi boy. Yeah, but that always shocks me. They just seem to get more and more, and they last really well, they spread really well, they're really absorbent. Like I said, the bags are probably slightly more, both for the Mega Spread and the Hunters, than you would potentially pay, but the bales are massive, like really big, and they go, like I say, like so far. Like we were having to put 2 or 3 bales of shavings in a week before we used Mega Spread and Hunters, and now, like I say, we're like down to 1 even in the winter, now that we're using the pellets under them to help when he's really wet. But yeah, just like so impressed. And like, even though they're more expensive, it works out much cheaper in the long run, because obviously you're using less bales a week. So if you were having like a £6 bale of shavings, you might be using £12 worth a week, and then obviously that's like £24 worth a fortnight, whereas with Hunters you maybe use like, I don't know, like 20, which over a year, that's going to add up to an awful lot. Like, my maths is not that good, but that is an awful lot of money. Those like £4 like a fortnight are going to add up so much. And obviously if you buy in bulk, I think they obviously come maybe like slightly cheaper if you buy like a pallet. But yeah, they're just so good. I will just show you, Bailey's having a good sniff. These are Bed Max, which I haven't personally used, I don't think, for a bed, but that is the size of the bale. We use these in the trailer because they're quite big flakes, so they spread really well, and we can get them from our local tack shop, like, which is like 10 minutes down the road, so they're really quick and easy to buy. So that's like the size of one of their bales. And then I will find a Hunter's bale over there. So these are Hunter's bales. They are so deep and they are really wide, and they are literally like packed full, like so full. The lighting in here is not very good. I'll try with the flash. So I don't know if this makes it any better, but they're really good quality. They're so not dusty at all. Like really dust free. They are dust extracted, as you can probably see on the packaging, and they're just so good. Like, massive bales. The company are really lovely. I've spoken to them a little bit on Instagram. This is in no way an ad. This is literally just the shavings we use and have used now for like 2 or 3 years. And they're just really lovely, really helpful, and they're just always such good quality shavings. So this is when we put his new bit of pellets and shavings down. So we sweep all of that floor up, let it air for a bit, then put the pellets down. I realised afterwards as well that I did not film a single thing of me opening these. Obviously I cannot multitask. So then we put the pellets down. Because they are going under something, I don't soak them, but obviously would advise that you do soak them if they are just going to be a bed, Then the hunter shavings go down on top. That was it before they went down. And then this was it after they went down. And the spare banked. So I hope you have enjoyed this week's video. It's a bit different to what I usually do. I don't know if you like these sorts of videos or not. Do let me know below. I'm not sure if I've covered everything I wanted to. I think I have. I'll probably watch this back and be like, absolutely not. But yeah, I just wanted to do something a bit different. Share this with you. I really do rate these shavings and the pellets for winter. And I'm just really happy with it and how long they last and how much better they're lasting than previous brands that we've used, and like the money we save overall with them. So I hope maybe that has been of some use in some way, and yeah, I will see you again very soon.